Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today is going to be the first part in a series that I'm playing for Field of Glory 2 Medieval. Field of Glory 2 Medieval is the sequel to Field of Glory 2, which is a tabletop turn-based style war game. The game actually comes out today, and there's a link in the description if you're interested in buying it. That link will take you to nexus.gg, which is an authorized reseller of the game. I double-checked with Slytherin. And if you buy it through that link, you will get a Steam key, and I'll get a small commission. If you don't want to do that, no big deal. There is a tournament that the publisher, Slytherin, is running for the game. It's a content creators tournament. And so this is a 3-round tournament where a bunch of different folks who have their own YouTube and Twitch channels are all playing against each other. And you may recognize some names from YouTube or from Twitch that you may be familiar about. You know, everybody in here has their own channel. I think everybody except for one of them are considerably larger channels than my own. But, you know, similar strategy type channels like Das Tactic are involved in the tournament. Lionheartx10 is someone who does a lot of Total War stuff and whatnot, and obviously there's a wide variety of different channels in here. We are about to be starting round 2. I didn't record round 1, which was my match against Andrew Channel. We had some logistical delays, so it took us a few days into the actual round before we kind of were able to start getting a good cadence going with our passing our turns back and forth. And so I didn't end up recording that. I did play 2 battles, though. The way this works basically is in each round, you play 2 battles against the same opponent simultaneously. So you're playing 2 battles, and in each battle you're playing a different side. So, for example, in the first round it was basically the English versus the French, and so you'd play 1 battle as the French and 1 battle as the English. And in that fight, I did win one of the battles, and I lost one of the battles. The battle that I lost, I got a few more, a little bit more damage inflicted on Andrew Channel than he did on me in the battle that I won, and as a result, I ended up sort of eking out a slight victory overall. I ended up with 80 points, he ended up with 76, sort of in this scoring module. And so now we're moving into round number 2, which is the Mongolian armies versus the Hungarian armies, and I'll be going up against Lionheartx10, and it should be pretty exciting. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Now, this is turn-based, so I'm going to be stitching these turns together into a video, but let's jump right in and get our army creation started. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. So currently, my opponent has one of the turns. He's in the process probably of picking his army, and I've got to go ahead and jump into my turn to pick my army for this particular battle. So we're in the multiplayer screen. We'll just click on our battle that is waiting for us, and then we'll jump in here and see what the army composition options are for us. All right, as you can see here, this battle is going to be Mongol Europe from the 1223 to 1241 period. That's the army on one side. And then the Hungarian forces, which the Hungarian army forces are the forces that you have to choose from them between 1200 and 1319. The objective of the battle is simple: rout the enemy army. If we rout at least 40% of the enemy army and 25% more than my own losses, I'll win the battle, or if we rout at least 60% of the enemy army. It's a 24-turn battle, and we are currently in the process of picking our army. So you can see here's the 4 selection options. We have up to 1,200 points that we can deploy. Some of the units are already sort of pre-purchased for us. So you can see we are actually the Mongols in this particular fight. And so we've got some Mongol Tartar cavalry. Above average armored is protected. They have bows, and they're also swordmen. You can see it looks like we've got 2 of those units. We've got 1 light horse unit, which is more, I guess they're unprotected. They don't have any armor, but they do still have a bow, and they are still able to fight with a sword. And then we've got our best equipped cavalry option, which is a highly superior quality unit, which is armored. They have a bow, and they are also lancers and swordsmen. Meanwhile, on the other flank, we've got the same thing here. Actually, we've got another best equipped. we've got a Mongol Tartar, and we've got light horse. So this should be an interesting fight. I'm not sure what the Hungarian forces look like. It's a pretty open battlefield. It is split up by a river or a stream down the middle, which could pose some challenges for us. I also wouldn't be surprised. It looks like there's some rough terrain back here, so he may elect to try and hold back a little bit in the rough terrain and maybe invite me to break my own formations up as I try and march against him. With that being said, we have 870 points left that we can still use. We can have up to 4 best equipped cavalry units, so I'm actually just going to do that. I'm going to go with the heavy cavalry options, so we'll have a total of 6 of these things on the battlefield. They each cost 66 points, and as a result, you can see I'm down to 606 points. Interestingly enough, that I can go with a trebuchet if I want. Which I don't know what the range on the trebuchet is, but it would be interesting if like they're going to stick in like some kind of spear formation, which I don't really know because I haven't played against the Hungarians before. But if they would have some sort of closed rank formation, trebuchets might be worthwhile in terms of breaking them up, although I imagine they're highly inaccurate. You can see our other options here are expert armored horse archers, which are bow and swordsmen. Troop quality is superior, and they are they have bows and swords. Mongol Tartar cavalry. We can have up to 16 of these things. They're all of my troops have some form of bows by the looks of it, so that's interesting. I guess we'll go with expert armored horse archers. And that still leaves me with 382 points. I do want to try the trebuchets. So I am going to put together 3 trebuchet units, and then I guess the rest will just go with regular Mongol Tartar cavalry as much as I can. And that leaves me, so at the end of the day, I will have 6 best equipped cavalry units. I will have 4 expert horse archers. I will have 9 Mongol Tartar cavalry, 2 light horse, and 3 trebuchets. There's no infantry options here, so we're going to be fully mounted. So, you know, I guess it is what it is. Again, I don't know what the range of these guys is. I'm going to go ahead and put these guys in some rough ground. Hopefully that may... Oh, I can't put them in rough ground, can I? I'm guessing they've got to be in open ground. Yeah, it looks like you can't put them in rough ground. Now, these things might be a little bit vulnerable to enemy attack, so let's actually group them together. If I had, like, spearmen to throw in front of them, that would be great, but I don't. So we'll do that. I'm going to guess he's going to try and stick maybe in some of these wooded terrains or some of these areas where the ground might be a little bit rough. He also could hide some troops in these woods here on the flank to try and hit me as I move up. So that's certainly possible. You know, because of that, let's move these... I don't really know. Let's move the trebuchets right behind some rough ground. Maybe that'll protect them from an enemy flank attack. Or an enemy charge a little bit. At least break up the formation a little bit. We'll put our light... Well, I guess I can't... Wow, so I can deploy the trebuchets further forward, but I can't deploy the cavalry further forward than that line. And this is interesting. Okay, so the best equipped cavalry does have to come... So here's the problem here, is I don't want to break up my formation. I don't know where the enemy is going to be, though. If I end this, I think... All right. Yeah, but I still can't see where they're at. All right, so he's going to be a general. And then we've got another general unit somewhere around here, I think. Yeah. So we've got 2 general units. We'll put them back here sort of in the middle. Oh, and I can so you can dismount these cavalry. That's interesting. All right, so we're going to form up a heavy cavalry line to the right of the trebuchets. I guess with some expert horse archers on the flank. Aren't these all... Oh, these are all... Each one of these is an expert horse archer unit. All right, so it's not quite what I wanted to do. Let's do this. Keep our horse archers on either flank. Actually, this is my CNC, so these 3 units are all my generals. I mean, I'm not really sure, because I can't really see where he is, so it's kind of a little bit of guesswork here is involved. My light horse can kind of be on either flank, sort of as scouts, if you will. These are their best equipped. I think we'll put these guys on the left. I do have some generals in this formation as well. And then these guys who are a little bit lighter, but they're still solid cavalry. We'll actually pull these guys back to be in line with the generals over there. So that way my kind of shock cavalry, or my slightly better cavalry, is in a sort of a second rank, if you will. Alright, so I think this is about the best we can do at the moment without knowing where the enemy is at. So I've purchased all my units. I've deployed my cavalry sort of in 2 formations, 1 on each flank of the force. I've got a couple of Tartar cavalry, sort of scouts out front, with the trebuchets sitting sort of in the middle of the map, hopefully ready to pivot and hit any particular enemy formations. I don't imagine he's going to be sitting in the middle of the field, but he might be sitting in these tracks and sort of a defensive strategy. I'm not sure. In any event, though, we'll have to see how this plays out. So we're going to go ahead and end the turn, send it back over to Lion, and see how things look when we get his turn back. This will all be sort of linked together in one video, however, so we'll just hit the end turn button and see what we've got in store for us. All right, so I screwed up the recording a little bit. I was just talking to myself for about 5 minutes. So this is the first turn. We can see he's deployed his formation on the opposite side of the map. You can see he's gone with some heavy cavalry, some knights and sergeants here on this flank, as well as sort of one of his sub-generals, Teutonic Order unit over here. Toward the center of the line, he's got Skessler cavalry, which they do carry bows, and they also have light spears and are swordsmen. They have some crossbowmen, or spearmen in the middle with crossbowmen just behind the ranks. And then on the right flank, he's got some nomadic horse archers, my right, his left, and some more Skessler cavalry, as well as some knights, sergeants. And then in the woods here, it looks like he has some nomadic horse archers. So I did advance my line here in basically just uniformly across the line, double line with our Mongol Tartar cavalry here, and our expert armored horse soldiers here behind them. Same on the other flank. We've moved everybody in line to be in line with these trebuchets, and then we've advanced a little bit of our light cavalry out here scouting just slightly ahead of our main line. These trebuchets, interestingly enough, don't have the range to hit the enemy in their current position, and I can't move this guy forward because of the rough ground ahead of them. So I could move 2 of the trebuchets forward. I guess we could try that just to see like what it looks like, I guess. I don't know what the range is. That's the problem here, is I'm really not sure what range these reach out to. So I'm kind of hoping, I'll just do this. I really don't want to charge across this rough ground. That'll break my formation up pretty good. So that's something to be mindful of. He's really laid up strong on his flank, so that's something also to sort of be aware of. It looks like he's really going strong on each flank with sort of the knights, although more so on his right, my left. I also wonder if he has any like infantry here in these woods, but I'm not really sure. I'm kind of using this wood line on my right flank to anchor it because I don't think it's likely any cavalry is going to swing from wood to wood. He could move infantry in that way, but we'll have warning because we've got these light horse up here so they detect anything. The left is completely open, although we do have this rough ground on our flank, which sort of anchors our left flank as well. So it would really be beneficial to me if he just comes on head first and comes after us, but we'll have to see how things play out. With that being said, it's a quick second turn. Let's go ahead and move forward and see what we've got in store for us on the next turn. Let's see how he plays out. He is coming forward, so he is advancing his heavy cavalry on the flank as quickly as he can, actually, and his light cavalry on the other flank. Interesting that he's advancing them kind of in different amounts, right? It looks like he's moving his troops forward as quickly or as far as the individuals can move in a single turn, so he's really trying to rush the action and get folks into the fight sooner rather than later. All right, so what do we want to do here? We can't quite engage these nomadic horse archers on the flank. Our trebuchets can engage the enemy troops here immediately. So let's actually, I'd rather focus, I think, on his knights and sergeants. So these guys can fire here. These guys just need to turn, right? Oh, they can't get a... Casualties 0 to 64. That is a pretty damn wide range. How much ammo do they have? 5 turns of ammo? Nomadic horse archers, spearmen. You know what? Let's just do it. Let's fire at the knights. 26. Again. So we're pounding those knights and sergeants there. I wish it doesn't look like I can pivot the trebuchet. So I guess we'll just go with this lead secular cavalry unit. And 22. Those are pretty impressive numbers, at least in my opinion. There's still out of shooting range, huh? Okay. And then we'll fire at these nomadic horse archers. Move our Tartar cavalry up here as well. Doesn't look like they're in shooting range. They must have really short range then. Actually, can I not undo this? I kind of want to let them come to me. I should have waited. That was a mistake on that flank. We'll let them come to me on the other flank. A little bit of indecision here on this turn. I'm kind of messing up my line. That's the problem with this game, is that it's not a problem with the game. It's just the way that combat works in this era is highly, cohesion driven. And once your units kind of, once they commit to something, they can't just undo it. You can't just turn around and be like, yeah, we're done. In any event, I think we did a pretty good job there. We took out 50 of his knights in this flank unit here with these trebuchets. So they lost better than 10% of their force in a single turn, well before they get into contact with any of my boys. Okay, so that's going to do it for turn number 3. We'll go ahead and end the turn and see what we've got in store for us. He'll probably continue pressing on the right flank. I'm not too worried about him flanking through these woods because he'll lose a lot of his cohesion if he tries. And so the trebuchets are going to stay in position, continuing to try and hammer the enemy. We'll let them come to me. If he's going to sprint, I would guess he'd get to right around here. So he may get into range of our troops on the right flank with his bows. I don't think he'll get into range on the left flank. He'll probably just be barely out of range unless he fails to move at all. And my hope is that I get the first shots off at him by doing this. So we'll end the turn, and we'll see what we have coming up for us. I'll probably make a beeline for the trebuchets if I had to guess. I would assume he's going to try and take those out of the fight as soon as he can. I wonder if we'll start to see some engagements here. It looks like his heavy cavalry is moving across open ground and through some rough ground as well. His horse archers here are advancing on our trebuchets, which I kind of have a problem in the sense that the center of my line is a little bit weak. Like, I don't have anything there to hold the trebuchets when it gets in range. Meanwhile, you can see definitely a lot of engagement here on the flank with some horse archers getting hit by his own horse archers. So I'm a little bit concerned, actually, because my front doesn't look so pretty. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and see what we can do. These guys were our target last time, so we'll keep hitting them with the trebuchets. Held firm, 44 casualties inflicted. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't think I want to attack if there's only So these guys have now lost almost 100 men. We'll hit the lead horse archers, I guess. They're not as good of a target. They're a little bit more scattered. So let's actually hit the spearmen. Closed ranks, I would assume, are always better, although maybe that didn't really seem to work out that way on that attack. Alright, so he's got a whole bunch of troops here on the flank. What do we want to do? I probably want to fall back, but the question really becomes who do I want to try and hit? I guess these guys. Turn and fire. I can't These guys have no ammo? They're out of range? Okay. Alright, all these troops have bows, so we'll advance here. We'll try and hit these cavalry kind of in the flank. Passing morale checks, but they're losing a lot of men there. Alright, expert horse archers. Let's try and hurt these guys who are advancing on my trebuchets. My cohesion is in rough shape, so it'll be very interesting to see. I don't know if, like, the Mongol Tartar cavalry, by the way, retreat when the enemy tries to charge them or not. Because it'll be very interesting to see what actually happens here. I don't actually know what to expect. Undo that. So these guys have bows, right? Huh. Move this line up so that our elite cavalry is within supporting range of all of these troops. But again, that gap in the middle of my line could come back to haunt me. Fortunately, at the moment, it's just mostly infantry. If I can defeat the cavalry on the flanks, I think we'll be in good shape. The trebuchets probably made this knight and sergeant group much weaker. They're almost 100 down. And then this lead enemy secular cavalry unit is disrupted, so I don't know if they'll be able to charge the trebuchets all that effectively. So we'll see. Meanwhile, he's really threatening to turn my right flank with all of these horse archers out this way. We've disrupted 2 of his own units. We disrupted this nomadic horse archer group as well. They've lost over 100 casualties. So yeah, I mean, he could just smash my right at the moment, but if he does, let's actually turn these guys. If he does, maybe I can just charge him down with my Cavalry. I really don't know how to use cavalry effectively in this game, so this could be ugly, guys. This is not... I'm not very good versus the AI, let alone a human opponent, so we'll see how this shapes out. Anyway, that's going to do it for turn number 4, and we'll move ahead to turn number 5 as things are starting to get interesting. Okay, let's see. Let's see if he's able to exploit the gap in my lines. I'm hoping not. My right flank's in poor shape. My left flank is also in kind of bad shape as well. Or at least my right flank and my center. Sorry, not my left. He does appear to be trying to go up and around my right by the looks of it. He's got a lot of heavy cavalry up there. Meanwhile, he's being drawn in by some of my nomadic horse archers who he is charging. And we see a lot of activity coming up here in the center of our line. He just charged the flank of one of my cavalry units as well as using his archers to fire into the flanks. Yeah, this isn't great. 56 losses by that horse archer unit? All right. I don't think his spearmen are offensive spearmen, so that'll be interesting. Let's see what our all right, so these guys can hit here. These guys are already disrupted 0 to 92. We could also go after the crossbowmen in the rear. Secular cavalry. Let's just go for the secular cavalry directly in front of us. I want to try and rout a few units. Only 28 casualties there. That wasn't quite ideal. But we'll go for another shot at them. They're already fragmented, so I don't know if that impacts or no, it doesn't appear to impact their ability to take damage. 0 to 100? Wow. All right, so I'm going to assume that there's a chance that can they rout them by themselves? No, they can't. I was hoping that my trebuchets would rout those enemies, that enemy unit by itself. It is fragmented. It's lost about 50% of its total size and casualties. All right, now the question is, do we turn and face these guys with some horse archers? I guess yes. We're going to have to use horse archers on the flank here against this enemy heavy cavalry. All right, fire into the flank here. Can they break already? There we go. All right, so we routed one of the enemy units here. There's a good chance we win this fight against this enemy cavalry, assuming no more men get involved here by the looks of it. All right, let's turn and face these knights and sergeants. So these guys are down over 140 casualties. We fired into them. All right. So what do these guys do? These Mongol Tartar cavalry. If they charge these knights, they're gonna die. But we can turn and fire into them, I guess. I assume he won't be able to turn his horsemen all that quick. This could be an invalid assumption, but I'm working under the assumption that my cavalry are more nimble than his. All right, let's turn and fire into these knights here. Oh, nice. We disrupted them. That should be beneficial in the event they end up charging us. So his knights on the left have lost 70 casualties here, 140 casualties out of this unit. These guys are at full strength, and the unit on the flank has lost about 70 casualties. Meanwhile, my troops, for the most part, are fresh on the left flank, so that's good for us. We did rout one enemy unit here that is retreating here. Meanwhile, the right flank seems like it's in a bit worse shape. It's hard for me to keep track of everything here. All right, where do we want to focus? I mean, really, I'm just trying to break the next weakest unit. So maybe this nomadic horse archer unit directly to our front. All right, so they're disrupted. I'm really just trying, again, to focus in on these enemy units and destroy them. Nice, we routed another one. Again, the nomadic horse archers aren't the strongest units that he does have against us, but they're important. These guys are at full strength, and they're approaching our flank, so we're going to turn and engage them. Turn and fire at them here. Alright, so we disrupted them. Move our best equipped cavalry over there and see if we can engage them. These guys are already disrupted. If I turn here, I'll expose my own flank, so I won't do that with my best equipped. They can get all the way up there and charge those guys? There's a good chance on the impact they'll drive them back. They'll almost certainly win in the eventual melee. Let's do that. Just to shore up our engagement here with the other cavalry on our flank. Can I hit these guys from there? No. Undo. Can't hit anybody there. So, shifting around on my flank, we've done a good deal of damage and dispersed one of the secular cavalry in the lead. Alright, I'm hoping that when these enemy charge us, we will retreat from the threat. We've routed 2 of his units, but again, probably not the most important units. Our trebuchets have 2 more turns worth of ammo, so I'm hoping they survive long enough to do a bit of damage, maybe to these spearmen as they come up. The left flank is where we're doing okay. I mean, I could be wrong. These knights could crush through my lines and defeat me. But, like, the fact that on the left, one of his units has lost 140 men, one of them is untouched, but then the other unit has lost 70 men and is disrupted. And another unit's lost, you know, all 3 of his 4 heavy cavalry units on the flank have lost better than 10% of their force before they even engage me. Where I'm concerned is on the far right. And a little bit less so in the center now. Again, his infantry could come up and hit these trebuchets, but I think we'll be okay for at least a little bit. So we'll go ahead and kick the turn back to him and see what turn number 6 has in store for us. They don't have anything else, right? We haven't done anything else. Meanwhile, we're up to 9% of his army is routed. So I assume that's 9 points in the battle, but some of our guys will get routed soon too. All right, everybody, that's going to finish up this first part of our look at my multiplayer battle in the Slytherin Invitational, or whatever they're calling this, Field of Glory 2 Medieval Tournament, which is a tournament involving 8 influencers, I don't know, YouTubers, Twitch people, whatever. 8 folks who make videos on YouTube and Twitch like myself. And we are doing okay, I think. This is one of the 2 legs. I'm not recording the other leg where I'm playing as the Hungarians, but you know, this is really tough to tell because it feels like on my left flank things are in bad shape. On my right flank things are, right flank things are okay. Left flank, we are, you know, we're struggling. But we'll see how this shapes out. This is, again, as a reminder, a game against Lionheartx10, who is a YouTube and Twitch person or individual who you can definitely check out. A link in the description to his channel. He does some really great stuff. Does a lot of Total War stuff, some Crusader Kings stuff, and occasionally he's played Field of Glory on his channel as well. So link over there. Go check his stuff out. But hope you guys are enjoying the series. We'll see how this plays out and if I can win some points and maybe do a little bit better. Right now, in the tournament, there are 8 people, and after the first round, my score had me sitting in, I think, 6th, so 3rd from the end. But, you know, if I can win these battles against Lionheart, then things will go a lot better, I think. I should be able to still catch up. And it's a 3-round tournament, right? So we'll see if I can do a little bit better. But I'm not overly optimistic or confident in my abilities, but I think it's a lot of fun either way, and I think it's awesome that Slytherin put this together. Either way, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your thoughts down below, and until next time, as always, this is the Historical Gamer saying once again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm out.